Okay, bye, Danny.
Bye.
Be sure to study hard.
Bye.
Let's go.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, watch it.
Danny.
For me?
Yes.
Thank you.
Don't play with it in class.
Okay. Okay, bye.
What was that?
I give him my old video game.
Ah, the poor kid.
Where did you get that? Did you use our food money to buy it?
No, Kyung gave it to me.
Who's Kian?
Your game tip videos. Oh, and you can only get this cool Sega stuff at Howard Johnson. They're sure going to be glad you stayed here. Hey, maybe you can come back. Yeah, and bring your kids. And they can stay free, you know. Kids go Hojo. With Sega, the official hotel for Sega.
If you were colorblind and had an IQ less than 12, then you wouldn't care which portable you had. Of course, you wouldn't care if you drank from the toilet either. Game Gear.
Are being dressed up in order to distract the buyer from their ordinary one-color play. What could be next? Little flower print dresses? Black leather restraining devices? Fresh baked olive loaf? Don't be fooled. Get Sega Game Gear. Basic black on the outside. Hundreds of exciting full-color games radiating from the inside. And we promise no sleazy little get-ups that scream, "Hello, big boy." Get Game Gear. Sega!
Welcome to Gamers Overdrive Retro Mode. Insert coin to play.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're looking at a Consolized Game Gear. This is made by the Behar Bros of Istanbul, Turkey. And we are looking at a Game Gear inside of a custom-built metal console. It's super cool. Here we can see the controller ports in the front. You can plug in Sega Genesis controllers. On the side, that's a link cable for you to connect an actual Game Gear to if you wanted to have two-player fun. Right on top, we can see a custom Sanwa button. That's for pausing the game during gameplay. And let's take a look at the back over here. We can see the usual suspects here. We have a power switch. We have the power adapter spot right there. Here are some audio inputs. And there's that RGB cable, which is super cool. And I'm going to be playing today with the RGB running through the OSSC inverter. There we have the VGA cable. And on the bottom we can see some very sturdy rubberized feet. That'll keep this bad boy in place. And this thing is great. So if you had a Game Gear back in the day, and if you happen to have a huge collection of physical Game Gear games that you would like to play on your TV, this would be for you. And what I'm going to be playing today is actually an Everdrive clone, which can run Game Gear games and Sega Master System games. This system is a refurbished Game Gear motherboard, and it's got a Tim Worthington GGTV adapter built into it. So this is plugs right into your TV, and you can use this Sega Genesis controller, which is super cool. So it really just turns your Game Gear collection into an easily accessible TV playable console. And it's not emulation. You are playing real Game Gear games on a real Game Gear hardware setup. And it's very unique, very original, see? So a Genesis plug would plug right into there, no problem. You can have two controllers for two-player action. And as I said before, the link cable is right next to those plugs if you wanted to plug in an actual Game Gear to play two-player via a real physical Game Gear. So in this video I'm going to show you some gameplay of both Game Gear games and also Sega Master System games. They all run perfectly, as you will see in just a minute. So here we go in 3, 2, 1. Boom. Okay, here's my TV setup, and here's my Sega Genesis controller. And I'm going to show you what this bad boy can do. I'm going to be using some layovers from time to time just to give you an idea of what the game would look like if it were played on a original Game Gear, and I'm going to do the same thing for the Master System games. So here you can see I'm running Mortal Kombat 1 on my TV here, and in just a second I'm going to throw a little layover so that you can see the screen size, just how it would look on a Game Gear. It's not exactly to scale, of course, But here you can see it stretches the image just a little bit, and let me just pop in the blood code real quick. I remembered this blood code after 27 years of not playing Game Gear. How insane is that? I can't remember what I ate for breakfast yesterday, but I can remember the Game Gear blood code, 212 down up, if you're interested. So take a look at this. Here's Mortal Kombat, and that's what it would look like if it was on a Game Gear. Just shrunk it down for you. And this is, take a look at this gameplay here, and it's exactly how it would play on a Game Gear because it is a Game Gear. Once again, this is literally a Game Gear in a box that can connect to your TV. So who is this thing for? It's for Game Gear enthusiasts, obviously. Probably people who have a large physical collection of Game Gear games would appreciate this the most. It's just a really fun way to access your collection and to see it on the big screen. Now, do you want to see the Game Gear on the big screen is the question. Some games look better than others. You can see here Mortal Kombat. There are obviously better ways to play Mortal Kombat, but it's cool. If I remember the Game Gear version, and so it's very nostalgic for me to see it. And here I'm just again showing you the overlay so you can see where the screen would be on the Game Gear. And so yeah, it doesn't take up a whole lot of real estate on your TV. It's kind of shrunken down in a box. And this is Aladdin for Game Gear. And you're going to see later in the Master System games, the Master System window is a lot bigger. So if you were playing on a traditional square TV, it would fill up the whole square. So again, this is Aladdin for Game Gear, and I never had this game actually, but since it was on the Everdrive clone, I decided to take a look at it. And this is very impressive for a Game Gear game. And apparently, from what I've been told, see there's my little hand inside the screen, you can see I'm actually playing on the TV. But from what I'm told, the Game Gear and the Sega Master System are very similar hardware. So it explains why it's so easy to emulate Master System games on the Game Gear. But yeah, this is a pretty good game. Really nice animation. You can see the quality of the animation here. And when you're playing on this thing, remember, this is absolutely not emulation. You're playing the original game on the original hardware. Even if it's a ROM, it's not emulation. So let's take a look at Alex Kidd. This is the Master System right here. So you can see the much larger screen. It takes up a bigger portion if you have, a widescreen TV. You'll still have black bars on the side. I just put that Master System little overlay just to isolate the screen there so you can see what we're working with here. But this is exactly, how you would experience playing this on the Sega Master System. Alex Kidd, great game. And you really notice that if you emulate a lot of these systems, you'll notice how big of a difference it is playing on original hardware. Now, I know this is not an original Master System, but what I'm saying is you won't see a lot of the screen tearing that you'll see in some emulated versions of these games. Here's Columns. This is Columns for the Game Gear. This is what it would look like if it were on a Game Gear portable. And you can see this game was great. I had this game with, I wonder if this came with my system. It might have. Not sure, but I love this game so much. I put so much time into this. I took this on a long train ride when I was 11 years old, and I just was mesmerized by these little jewels. This is like I don't want to say a poor man's Tetris, but it's definitely a Tetris clone. But it's, a slightly different concept. These blocks stay vertical. But lots of fun. The music in this game is incredible. And in a second, I'm going to show you what this game looks like on the Master System. And this will be a great comparison because graphics and sound, very little difference. So this is the Master System. You can see the larger screen there. Again, these overlays are not built into the system. I'm only putting these here to show you, to give you some idea of what the game would look like if it was at its original aspect ratio. And you can see this is the Master System version of Columns. And music sounds identical to the Game Gear, which again just lets you see that the hardware is very, very similar, if not borderline identical. The sound chip is pretty much the same sound chip. So when you had a Game Gear, you were pretty much playing a Master System in portable mode. Now let's take a look at another Game Gear game. Let's go back to the Game Gear. Again, these are my own overlays. This is not installed in the system, but this is Sonic 2. That's what it would look like if it were being played on a Game Gear. And this is really where I see the biggest difference between playing on this type of a console versus playing on an emulation type deal, either on your phone or on a Chinese system. There's no screen tearing at all, and you would notice it a lot in a Sonic game just because it moves so quickly. And you can see this thing is just rock solid. And it's rock solid, once again, I can't stress this enough, because you are literally playing on a refurbished, reworked Game Gear. Inside of this box, it is a Game Gear. It's just being output to the TV via that Tim Worthington board, the GGTV board. And this was really impressive to me. I thought this was a really cool showpiece just to show there's no screen tearing, it's super fast, stays solid, and this is again from my TV's view. And just to close it up, I'm going to show you Afterburner. This is just Master System Afterburner. And again, you can play any Master System ROM on this, you can play any Game Gear ROM on this via an Everdrive, whether official or bootleg like the one I'm using today. Or you can use your original Game Gear games, and every single Game Gear game that you have, if you have the original cartridge, it will work on this console. So I would say this is a very cool device for collectors. It's unique, it's super high quality, which is the standard you would come to expect from a Behar Bros product. Yossi Behar takes his work very seriously, and everything that he does is really a labor of love. It's his passion. So he creates what he would want for himself, and he puts it out there for other collectors to enjoy. So that's it for this episode. Thanks a lot for watching Gamers Overdrive Retro Mode. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so now. I greatly appreciate every subscription, every like, every share, and every comment. So thanks a lot, guys, and I'll see you next time on Gamers Overdrive Retro Mode.